Welcome to this incredible journey of mastering English. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, this session is designed to help you speak English confidently, fluently, and naturally. Have you ever felt nervous while speaking English? Do you struggle to find the right words, hesitate while talking, or feel frustrated when you can't express yourself the way you want? If so, you are not alone. Millions of learners around the world face the same challenges. But today, everything is going to change. This is not just another English lesson. This is your complete guide to mastering English, not just through memorizing grammar rules, but by understanding how English is actually spoken in real life. This video might be a bit long, but trust me, every second will be worth your time. I've packed this video with all the tools, tips, and tricks to help you speak English with confidence. By the end of this session, you will learn how to think in English instead of translating, the biggest mistakes that stop you from improving, secret techniques to sound like a native speaker, how to speak fluently and confidently in any situation, English with celebrities, learning from the masters, lazy learner tricks, master English without all the hard work. This is not about boring textbooks or complicated grammar. This is about learning English the smart way, so that you can use it in conversations, work, travel, and daily life with ease. So, let's get started with one of the most important lessons that will completely change the way you learn English. Why most people struggle with English, and how to fix it. Many learners spend years studying English, but when it's time to speak, they hesitate, struggle, and lack confidence. Why? Because they are learning English the wrong way. The biggest mistake? Thinking in your native language instead of English. Have you ever tried to say something in English, but your brain first translates it from your native language? This slows you down, makes you second-guess yourself, and creates awkward sentences. Fluent speakers don't translate. They think directly in English. And you can do it too. Start with simple thoughts. When you wake up, tell yourself in English, "I need to get up now." When you see something, describe it in English in your head. "This coffee smells great." Practice speaking in small sentences, even when you are alone. At first, it may feel difficult, but with daily practice, your brain will automatically start thinking in English. This will help you speak faster, more naturally, and without hesitation. Now let's move to another common mistake that stops people from becoming fluent. The mistake of incorrect pronunciation and stress. Even if you have the right vocabulary and grammar, incorrect pronunciation or word stress can make it difficult for others to understand you. It's one of the biggest barriers to speaking fluently and naturally in English. English pronunciation can be tricky. For example, the word record changes pronunciation based on whether it's used as a noun or a verb. As a noun, the thing, it's pronounced record. As a verb, the action, it's pronounced record. This is just one example of how the same word can sound completely different depending on its use. And this happens all the time in English. The key is to listen carefully to native speakers, repeat what they say, and pay attention to how syllables are stressed. A simple exercise you can do is listen to English songs, news reports, or interviews. Repeat the words or sentences you hear. Focus on the rhythm, stress, and intonation, the rise and fall of your voice. Over time, your pronunciation will improve, and you will sound much more natural. Let's also talk about another mistake that many learners make when speaking English. Many learners believe that to sound fluent in English, they need to use long, complex sentences and formal language. But here's the truth. Native speakers don't speak that way in everyday conversations. Instead of trying to sound proper, learn to speak naturally. Native speakers often use shorter phrases and contractions, like I'm instead of I am. This makes their speech smoother, faster, and more relaxed. For example, you might say, I do not know where he is. I have not seen him. Too formal. I don't know where he is. I haven't seen him. Natural. Let us go to the cinema. It will be enjoyable. Let's go to the movies. It'll be fun. If you always try to speak in a formal way, your English might sound stiff or unnatural. Instead, practice using contractions and casual phrases that are used in everyday speech. The first step to fixing these mistakes is awareness. Now that you understand what might be holding you back, it's time to change your approach. Practice thinking in English. No more translating in your head. Focus on correct pronunciation and word stress by repeating after native speakers. Start using natural, conversational phrases and contractions to sound smoother. These simple techniques will help you speak with more confidence, clarity, and ease. English with celebrities. Learning from the masters. Why is this so amazing? Because when you learn from the best, you get a chance to speak and understand English just like the stars. Celebrities speak in a way that's powerful, confident, and often full of expressions that make their words stand out. Today, I'm going to break down how you can use famous dialogues from movies, interviews, and speeches to improve your English skills. It's time to make learning both fun and practical. Why should you focus on celebrities for learning English? Simple. Celebrities, especially actors, musicians, and public speakers, use perfectly structured English. But they also make it sound natural and inspiring. You'll hear a mix of great vocabulary, clever idioms, and often the perfect rhythm of spoken English. These are things that we all want to use when we speak, right? Celebrities often talk in a very emotional, inspiring, and impactful way, making their words unforgettable. And let's be real, who doesn't want to speak English like the famous people you see on TV, at award shows, or on social media? Now let's break down some famous quotes from celebrities and see how we can learn from them. These quotes are not just words. They represent how language can be powerful, motivational, and memorable. 1. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, the famous co-founder of Apple, was known for his inspiring speeches. This line is short but powerful. It's not just about the meaning, it's about the simplicity of how it's said. In English, simple is often more effective than complex. Vocabulary. Words like great work and love are easy, but they hold deep meaning. Lesson. Learning to express powerful thoughts in a simple way is one of the keys to good English. So focus on learning how to speak clearly and with emotion, just like Steve Jobs. 2. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was a great leader, and his speeches were full of motivation and inspiration. This famous quote teaches us how to balance optimism and realism in our English. Grammar structure. This sentence has a great example of using negative words, not final, not fatal, to express deep concepts. Vocabulary. The words success, failure, courage, and continue are essential in everyday English and are powerful in speech. Lesson. Using opposites, final versus fatal, and powerful action verbs, courage, continue, can make your sentences more impactful and expressive. 3. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Jay-Z, the famous rapper, knows how to use playful language to make a statement. In this quote, he uses wordplay to express his confidence and success. What can you learn from him? Wordplay. The phrase, I'm a businessman uses repetition and a play on the word business. Understanding and playing with words like this can help you sound creative and fun in English. Tone and emphasis. The way Jay-Z says this is important too. It's not just about the words. It's about emphasizing the right parts to make your point clear. Lesson. Emphasizing words and playing with the sound of the language will make your English stand out. When you speak, make sure the most important words are heard clearly. 4. If you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for permission. Unknown. This quote is short but bold. It's a perfect example of how English can be used to motivate, inspire, and call to action. It's also a great example of a command sentence, which is used to motivate people to take action. Vocabulary. Words like achieve, greatness, stop, and permission are strong, clear words that carry weight in any language. Lesson. Using strong verbs, achieve, stop, asking, in a short sentence can make a huge impact in your speech. The shorter, the stronger. You've seen the quotes, but how can you use these to actually improve your English? Here's the secret. Listen carefully. Start by listening to interviews, award speeches, and movie dialogues from celebrities. Don't just listen passively. Really focus on how they speak. Pay attention to the rhythm of their speech, how they emphasize words for impact, their tone. Is it serious, funny, or motivational? Repeat famous lines. One of the best ways to learn is by repeating what celebrities say. Try repeating lines from their speeches or movies. For example, take a dialogue from your favorite movie or interview and imitate the way they speak. You can start by saying the line slowly, then gradually pick up speed as you become more comfortable. Try to sound as close as possible to the original speaker. This helps with pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. Learn idioms and phrasal verbs. Celebrities often use idioms and phrasal verbs to make their speech more colorful. For example, break a leg means good luck. Take it to the next level means improving something or achieving greater success. When you hear these expressions in movies or interviews, try to incorporate them into your own conversations. It will make you sound more natural and fluent in English. Focus on confidence and delivery. One of the most amazing things about celebrity speeches is their confidence. They know how to use their voice to command attention. When you're practicing your English, focus on speaking clearly and confidently. Not being afraid to use your voice to express emotions or make a point. Pausing after important sentences. This gives your words more power and allows your listener to absorb what you said. When you listen to celebrities, you'll notice that their speech often sounds very natural and relaxed. They blend words together and use contractions. I'm, I've, your, to make their speech sound smoother. You can do this too to sound more like a native speaker. Don't be afraid to use contractions in your speech. Instead of saying, I am going to, say, I'm gonna. Link your words together. For example, say gotta go instead of I've got to go. Relax when you speak. Native speakers don't overthink every word. Practice speaking as naturally as possible. Learning English with celebrities is an amazing way to improve your language skills and have fun. By listening to how they speak, using their famous quotes, and practicing their style, you'll boost your confidence and sound more natural in English. Remember, celebrities are great models for clear, powerful, and engaging speech, and you can apply their style to your own language learning journey. Mastering listening skills, the key to fluency. You may think that speaking is the most important part of learning a language, but in reality, listening is just as crucial, if not more. Why? Because listening is the foundation of all language skills. Without it, You wouldn't be able to understand what others are saying, and speaking would become incredibly difficult. Listening closely to native speakers will help you improve your vocabulary, sentence structure, and overall fluency. But here's the catch. To get better at listening, you need to listen to real English as it's actually spoken in everyday situations, not just from textbooks or language learning apps. So how can you improve your listening skills in a way that's effective and fun? Imagine you're sitting in a cafe in an English-speaking country, and there are people talking around you. They're speaking quickly, using slang, and sometimes even dropping words altogether. At first, you might find it difficult to catch every word. You might miss some of the conversation. But the more you listen, the more you begin to pick up patterns, understand the flow of conversation, and recognize the important words. This is the real-life experience you want when practicing listening. Textbook English is useful, but it's artificial. Native speakers don't always follow textbook grammar. They use informal language, slang, and expressions that might not be in your textbooks. To make your listening practice effective, start with slow and clear English. There are plenty of resources like podcasts, YouTube videos, or even audiobooks designed for beginners that speak slowly. As you get more comfortable, move to more natural, fast-paced speech. The key is to gradually increase the difficulty so you can build your skills step by step. How to develop your listening. Tips that work. Listen to English every day. The best way to improve your listening is to make it a habit. Listen to English daily, even if it's just for 10 to 15 minutes. The more you hear the language, the faster your brain will become familiar with it. Watch English TV shows, movies, and videos. Choose something you enjoy. You don't have to start with difficult content. Even watching cartoons or kids' shows is a great way to hear simple, clear English. And the best part? You can pause and rewind whenever you don't understand something. Use subtitles, but don't depend on them. At first, subtitles can help, but don't get too comfortable with them. Try to use them as a tool to reinforce what you've heard, not as a crutch. If you rely on them too much, you won't give your ears a chance to get used to the sounds of English. Focus on intonation and pronunciation. Listening isn't just about words. It's also about how things are said. Native speakers often use different intonations to show emotions or emphasize certain parts of a sentence. For example, in a question like, "You're going to the party?" the voice rises at the end, signaling it's a question. Pay attention to how words are stressed, how sentences are built, and how speakers express emotions. This will make your own speaking sound more natural and expressive. Let's break this down even further. Imagine you're watching a video in English. Here's a step-by-step process that will help you maximize your listening practice. 1. Pick a short video or audio. Choose something no longer than 3 to 5 minutes for starters. This will make it easier to focus and not get overwhelmed. 2. Listen without looking at the script. First, just listen. Don't look at subtitles or any written transcript. Try to understand the general meaning. 3. Check the transcript, if available. After listening, check the transcript or subtitles. How much did you understand? What words were new to you? 4. Replay the audio, this time with subtitles. Listen to the audio again, but this time, look at the subtitles. See if you catch any new words or phrases. 5. Repeat the process. Keep practicing with different videos and audios. Repeat is the key word. The more you repeat, the more familiar you become with the sounds, rhythms, and vocabulary of the language. It's not just about sitting with headphones on and listening to recordings. You can make listening practice a part of your everyday life. Here are some ways to incorporate English listening practice naturally. Listen to English podcasts while walking or exercising. This is an easy way to practice while you're doing something else. Find podcasts on topics you're passionate about, whether it's cooking, business, or technology. Join online conversations. Participate in language exchange platforms or group chats with English speakers. This will allow you to practice listening in real-time conversations. Watch videos with English audio and translations. You can use platforms like YouTube or Netflix where you can find English subtitles and practice listening at the same time. The more you listen, the more you'll start to hear the rhythm of the language. You'll learn new expressions, become familiar with common phrases, and understand how English is actually used in conversations. You'll also begin to notice patterns in how words are spoken, how sentences are built, and how emotions are expressed. With consistent practice, you'll reach a point where listening becomes second nature. You won't have to concentrate as hard, and you'll find yourself automatically understanding English in movies, podcasts, and conversations. Lazy learner tricks. Master English without all the hard work. Learning English doesn't have to be difficult or time-consuming. In fact, with the right techniques, you can get better at English without spending hours in front of books or memorizing complicated grammar rules. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, let me tell you that it's totally possible. In this section, we'll go over some simple yet powerful tricks that will make you feel like you're cheating your way to fluency. In a good way, of course. 1. Immerse yourself in English. All day. One of the best ways to improve your English without trying too hard is to surround yourself with the language all day long. No, you don't need to study hard for hours or sit with a textbook. The trick is passive learning. Here's how you can do it. Watch English TV shows or movies. Pick your favorite shows or movies in English, but don't just watch them passively. Try to focus on new words and phrases that you hear. Even better, try to repeat those phrases aloud after hearing them. This way, you're not just learning, you're speaking as well. Change your phone and computer settings to English. The more you see English, the easier it will be to remember. By having your phone, social media, and even your computer in English, you get constant exposure to the language in real-life situations. The more you expose yourself to real English, the way people speak in their daily lives, the better you'll understand the language. You won't even notice how much you're learning because it's happening while you're doing other things you enjoy. 2. Learn through pictures and images. Do you ever struggle to remember new vocabulary? Here's a lazy learner trick. Learn through images. This method is incredibly effective, especially for beginners who have trouble remembering words in isolation. Here's why it works. Pictures are memorable. It's much easier to remember a word when it's connected to an image. For example, when learning the word apple, picture an apple in your mind. This creates a strong visual connection between the word and the object. 3. Speak to yourself. Another trick to improve your English is to speak to yourself. Sounds strange, but trust me, it works. When you talk to yourself in English, you're practicing speaking, thinking in English, and getting comfortable with your own voice. Here's how to make it work. Describe your day to yourself. When you wake up, start talking about your plans for the day. For example, I'm going to eat breakfast. I'll make toast and coffee. Try to speak in full sentences as much as possible. Talk to yourself during daily activities. Whether you're cooking, cleaning, or even walking, explain what you're doing in English. Now I'm washing the dishes. I need to dry them afterward. This method helps you think in English, which is one of the keys to fluency. Use mirrors. If you feel a little awkward, try speaking to yourself in the mirror. This will help you feel more confident when speaking to others because you've already practiced. 4. Master key phrases. Instead of individual words. Instead of learning individual words, try learning key phrases. Why? Because phrases give you more useful context for conversations. Learning a whole phrase makes it easier to use those words naturally in real-life situations. For example, instead of learning thanks, learn thank you so much. Instead of learning how are you, learn how are you doing today. This way, when you're in a conversation, you'll sound more fluent and more natural. Plus, you'll avoid awkward pauses while you try to think of individual words. 5. Use memory tricks to remember new words. One of the laziest tricks to learning English is using memory techniques. These tricks help you learn faster without much effort. Here are some you can use. Association. Connect new words to something you already know. For example, when learning the word delicious, imagine the most delicious meal you've ever had. This connection helps you remember the word more easily. Mnemonics. Create a silly sentence or a rhyme to remember a new word. For example, if you're trying to remember the word glorious, you could think of the sentence, "The glorious sun shines bright." The sillier, the better. Chunking. Group related words together. For example, if you're learning about food, group all food-related words together like fruits, vegetables, and dairy. This makes it easier to remember them in categories. These memory tricks help your brain connect new words in a fun and natural way. One of the most common reasons people quit learning a language is because they feel overwhelmed by the amount of time they need to dedicate. The truth is, you don't need to study English for hours every day to improve. Instead, try breaking your learning into short bursts of just 10 minutes. It's not overwhelming. 10 minutes feels manageable, and you're more likely to stick with it every day. You can use these 10 minutes to do anything. Read an article, watch a short video, learn 5 new words, or practice speaking. Consistency is key. Practicing for 10 minutes every day is much more effective than studying for an hour once a week. So, when you're feeling lazy or too busy, just take 10 minutes to do something in English, and you'll be amazed at how quickly it adds up. Focus on words you actually use. As a beginner, it's easy to get caught up in learning every single word in the dictionary. But here's a trick. Focus on the words and phrases that you actually use in daily life. This way, you'll be able to communicate much faster, without wasting time on words that aren't relevant. For example, learn the vocabulary for things you do every day, like food, family, work, or hobbies. Focus on practical phrases that you can use in conversations like, "How's it going?" or "What's up?" instead of learning random fancy words. By doing this, you're learning English that's actually useful, and it's much easier to remember because it's connected to your real life. Use flashcards for super fast vocabulary. Flashcards are a lazy learner's best friend. They're easy to make, and they help you quickly memorize new words without any stress. You can carry them around in your pocket, and whenever you have a free moment, you can review them. Here's how to make flashcards work for you. Don't just focus on words. Use flashcards to practice phrases, idioms, and grammar rules too. Just spend 5 minutes a day flipping through your flashcards, and you'll see huge improvements in your vocabulary with almost no effort. Label everything around you. This is another lazy trick that you can do without putting in much effort. Simply label items around your house with their English names. You can use sticky notes or even create digital labels on your phone. For example, label the fridge, the door, the mirror, and the light switch with the English words. As you go through your day, you'll be constantly reminded of the English words for everyday objects. This method is so easy, but it works because you'll start associating the objects with their English names without even thinking about it. You can also add simple phrases like turn on the light or close the door on the labels to practice full sentences. It's a lazy and effective trick that helps you immerse yourself in English without needing to do anything extra. Use social media to practice English. Social media is not only for chatting with friends or watching funny videos, it can also be a powerful tool for learning English. Follow English-speaking accounts that interest you, whether they're about travel, fashion, food, or something else. Join English language groups or forums, where you can talk to other learners and native speakers. Use social media apps like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to see short, real-life English conversations, which will help you understand how natives speak. By using social media in English, you can practice every day without ever feeling like you're studying. It's totally okay to be a lazy learner. The key is to work smart, not hard. Use these simple tricks to make learning English feel natural, effortless, and most importantly, fun. Whether you're using your phone to practice, watching your favorite show, or labeling things around your house, every little bit counts. Start with small changes, and before you know it, you'll see massive improvements in your English skills without even realizing it. Challenge. Can you keep up? Level up sentences from easy to advanced. When you first start learning English, it can feel like everything is so basic and slow. You might feel like you're always saying the same simple sentences like, I am hungry, or this is my book. But what if I told you that you could level up your sentences and start sounding more advanced, confident, and fluent in just a few steps? Now, we're going to take easy sentences and transform them into advanced ones, step by step. By the end of this part, you'll be amazed at how simple changes can make your English sound much better and more natural. Step 1. Simple sentence to complex sentence. Let's begin by taking a very basic sentence and adding some details to make it sound more advanced and exciting. Simple sentence, I am eating lunch. Level up. Sentence. Right now, I'm sitting by the window enjoying a delicious sandwich for lunch and watching the rain fall outside. Notice how we added details and descriptive words to the original sentence. Instead of just saying, I am eating lunch, we made the sentence more interesting by describing the environment, sitting by the window, watching the rain, and the food, delicious sandwich. This is a great way to level up any basic sentence and make it more engaging and advanced. Step 2. Using conjunctions for more information. Next, we can take a simple sentence and use conjunctions words like and, but, because, although, to make it sound more connected and advanced. Simple sentence. I like pizza. Level up. Sentence. I love pizza, especially when it's freshly baked with a crispy crust, and I can enjoy it with my friends while watching a movie. Here we've used conjunctions to connect ideas. Instead of just saying, I like pizza, we added more detail about why we like pizza and how we enjoy it. This makes the sentence feel more natural and fluent. Step 3. Using modal verbs to express possibility or necessity. To level up your English, you can also use modal verbs like can, should, must, and might to express things like possibility, advice, or necessity. This makes your sentences sound more natural and native-like. Simple sentence. I go to the gym. Level up. Sentence. I should go to the gym more often to stay healthy, but I might skip it today because I'm feeling a bit tired. By using modal verbs like should and might, we're expressing different ideas like necessity, I should go, and possibility, I might skip it. This makes the sentence sound more complex and advanced. Step 4. Asking more complex questions. Instead of sticking with basic yes/no questions, try making your questions more interesting and thoughtful. This not only makes you sound more advanced, but also helps you engage in deeper conversations. Simple question. Do you like music? Level up. Question. What kind of music do you enjoy the most, and how does it make you feel when you listen to it? Instead of asking a basic question, we've added more layers to the question. Now the person will need to explain their preferences and their emotions, making the conversation more engaging and advanced. Step 5. Using active and passive voice. Changing from active to passive voice can also make your sentences sound more formal and advanced. Simple sentence. Active voice. I wrote the letter. Level up sentence. Passive voice. The letter was written by me. The passive voice shifts the focus from the subject, I, to the action, the letter being written. While this sounds more formal and advanced, be careful not to overuse it, as it can sometimes sound unnatural. Step 6. Adding idioms or phrasal verbs. In native English, people often use idioms, and phrasal verbs like catch up, take off, or bring up, instead of simple words. Adding these makes your English sound more authentic and advanced. Simple sentence. I am very tired. Level up. Sentence. I'm completely wiped out after a long day at work, and I can't wait to hit the sack. In this sentence, we replaced I'm very tired with the phrasal verb wiped out, and the idiom hit the sack, which makes the sentence sound much more natural and fluent. Native speakers use these expressions all the time. Step 7. Using reported speech. In English, we often use reported speech to talk about things someone else has said. This is another way to make your English sound more advanced. Simple sentence. She said, I love this book. Level up sentence. She mentioned that she absolutely loves this book and can't stop reading it every night before bed. By using reported speech, we're not just repeating what someone said, we're also adding more details and making the sentence sound more advanced. Learning English isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you'll master overnight, but it is a lifelong journey. The truth is, no matter where you are on your path to mastering English, you're already closer than you think. With every step you take, whether big or small, you are making progress. The power of persistence. You are not alone. I want you to remember one thing as you continue learning English. Instead, they embraced the process, the ups and downs, and never gave up. They learned from every mistake and celebrated every small win, no matter how tiny it seemed. And that's exactly what you need to do too. Celebrate every bit of progress you make. Whether it's understanding a new word, saying a difficult sentence with confidence, or simply reading an entire paragraph without stopping, every victory counts. You are constantly growing, and you must remind yourself of that, especially on the days when things feel like they're moving too slowly. Breaking the fear of making mistakes. Embrace imperfection. Now let's talk about fear, the one thing that holds so many learners back. I know many of you are probably afraid of making mistakes. You're afraid of sounding wrong or not being perfect. But let me tell you this. Mistakes are not failures. They are lessons. Every time you make a mistake, you get one step closer to becoming a better speaker. Don't fear mistakes. Embrace them. Imagine this. The world's most famous speakers, actors, and leaders didn't reach their level by being perfect. They reached it by trying and failing again and again until they succeeded. You must give yourself permission to fail and learn from it. That's how growth happens. If you make a mistake when speaking English, laugh at it, correct yourself, and move forward. That's how you become fluent. by learning to speak without fear. The more you practice, the more natural it will become, and the fear of making mistakes will disappear. The importance of consistency. Little steps lead to big results. Now, I want to talk about the power of consistency. Many learners think they need to study English for hours every single day to improve. While it's true that practice is important, you don't have to study non-stop. The key is doing it consistently. You could study for 10 to 15 minutes every day, and that's enough. Consistency is more important than the amount of time you spend. Think about it. If you study for 10 minutes every day, that adds up over time. Imagine how much you will have learned after 30 days, 60 days, or even a year. In the beginning, the changes might be small, but little steps lead to big results. And guess what? In a year, you'll be amazed at how much your English has improved. So instead of feeling overwhelmed by the thought of studying for hours, just commit to consistent practice. Short, regular practice sessions are more effective than long, irregular ones. Consistency will take you further than you ever imagined. Find your why. Stay connected to your motivation. As you move forward, remember why you started. Was it to travel? To get a better job? To make friends from around the world? Whatever your reason, stay connected to it. Because the truth is, when you have a strong why, you'll push through any challenge. Think about it. Every time you feel tired or frustrated, go back to your why. It will remind you of the bigger picture and why your English journey is so important. When you're connected to your motivation, you will be unstoppable. The journey you are on right now is one of the most powerful journeys you can take. Learning English opens doors to new opportunities, new friendships, and new possibilities. But the journey is not just about learning the language. It's about transforming yourself. It's about growing in ways you never thought possible. And every day that you show up, even when it's difficult, is another step toward becoming the best version of yourself. I want you to remember this. You are strong, you are capable, and you are unstoppable. No matter what anyone says, your ability to succeed is limitless. You are on a path to greatness, and every bit of effort you put in will pay off in ways you can't even imagine yet. So, my friend, don't stop. Keep going, even on the days when you feel like giving up. Embrace the challenge, embrace the journey, and soon you'll find that learning English wasn't just about the language. It was about discovering your own power, your own resilience, and your own ability to overcome. You've got this. Believe in yourself. Your journey has just begun, and the world is waiting for you.